baseball are precious. Comeback wins are special. The Tigers had their 13th come-from-behind victory last night. Now look for a series split with the Indians here this weekend, and only here on Fox Sports Detroit. Dancing a little bit, tapping the toes? You bet. So is Jack Morris. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Shepard. Special to be with you on this gorgeous Sunday, and a nice win for the Tigers last night in a 5-2 form, Jack, that saw the bottom third of the order really kind of key that victory.
Yeah, we don't always give these guys a lot of love, but they showed up in a big way last night. Eric Haas getting the call behind the plate, and he ends up with 2 hits, 1 key hit to tie the game. And Daz Cameron doing the same thing out in right field. Here's a kid that's been swinging the bat pretty good, but not getting any results. A lot of balls hit at people. Last night he found a couple holes, got some hits, and had some fun, a lot of smiles watching him run around the bases last night. And, of course, Brian Garcia came in through strikes, so that was good to see.
Yeah, such a bonus when that type of situation arises. And now Detroit gets their first win when trailing after 7 innings all season long. They're hoping to keep it rolling today for Matthew Boyd. Jack, who's coming off perhaps his best outing of the season.
Yeah, for Matthew, it's always been about getting ahead, that pitch count, avoiding those big innings. Man, we've talked about this so much for all the starters. But he's thrown his changeup a little bit more in his last couple outings, and he's had success with it. He's throwing fastballs in, which sets up that soft away, and he's been able to locate it better. Those, along with his good slider, Matthew can win. He's just got to be more aggressive and get ahead.
Matthew Boyd has decent numbers in his career against the Tribe. Let's hope they get even better here today. We know this. His defense behind him has been much improved, and we've seen that in this series against Cleveland. Nice play at home plate to nab Jose Ramirez. Derek Hill running him down in center and a whole lot more. Doing it with defense and doing it all day long here on Fox Sports Detroit. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Matthew Boyd takes the mound here for the Tigers today against Cleveland. Big start for him, big game for us, and a wonderful day, hopefully for you. First pitch and starting lineups are next. Did I tell you it was perfect? You bet. It's absolutely gorgeous here at Comerica Park. What a day for baseball. Pristine for Matthew Boyd's start against the Indians with our friend Johnny Kane, Hall of Famer Jack Morris. I'm Matt Shepard. 64 degrees, clear skies, a slight breeze in our face, but it's only a 1-club difference. Here's the Indians batting order, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Francisco Lindor's at the top. His first hit of the series came last night with a double, no damage. He and Cesar Hernandez paced this team with 56 hits each, and Franmil Reyes went 2 for 4 last night. It's his 16th multi-hit game of the season.
Today's starting pitcher for the Tigers is Matthew Boyd. It's presented by MGM Grand Detroit. Matthew making his 11th start of the season. He's coming off a pretty good one last time. Got a win against Kansas City last Tuesday, and looking to double up on that, kind of get back up there in the win column. Obviously throwing a lot more changeups. We're not even going to look about those numbers. Let's throw those away.
Can we do that?
Yeah, just have a good outing. Try to repeat what you did last time. Be positive and be aggressive.
Jack, I want you to say, of course we can do that. We are the factory. Goodman Acker brings you the Tigers starting defense.
Wrong reach, yep.
Victor Reyes had 4 putouts Friday and Saturday night. It's the same infield that the Tigers have started throughout, and Nico Goodrum had 3 assists Saturday at second base. He'll shift over to what used to be his normal position of shortstop because the Tigers are going to shift right away against Francisco Lindor. Matthew Boyd's 12th career start against the Tribe. Second one this season. Hoping for a better result than the last time he started against Cleveland. And here's the first pitch of the afternoon, and it's high.
Little surprised to see Austin Romine back there with the gear on. He really took a part off his wrist a couple nights ago, but catcher tough.
Tells you something about Romine.
Yep.
1-1 to Lindor.
He's got a wrist wrap on that left forearm.
You wonder if it's the catching or the hitting that will be disturbed the most.
Hitting. Bat's heavier than a glove.
On the ground, nice backhand, but foul by Paredes. I'm glad we talked about defense a little bit before our broadcast started, because Detroit's defense has improved with this staff. They're working on it on a daily basis. And the thing you'll love most about it is that from the top all the way down through the bottom, all the way down to A-ball, they're all on the same page.
Well, they've got one of the best there ever is at teaching young kids about fielding, and Alan Trammell running around the minor leagues. His commitment to coaching and teaching is phenomenal, and Gardy loved that. Of course, Gardy's staff, they work their tail off. They're all here yet, even though Ron isn't.
Yeah, you got Ramon Santiago and Dave Clark at this level. Alan Trammell roving the minors along with Gene Roof for the outfields. That's pretty special. Here's the 3-2 to Lindor. Fouled it back. Ninth game for Lindor at the leadoff spot. Had been batting third most of the season for the Indians' batting order. Another payoff. And another one fouled into the seats. The numbers at the top of the lineup, not as good as his numbers in the middle of the lineup. Sandy Alomar Jr. remains as the acting manager. Stomach issues continue to be a problem for Terry Francona. Our best wishes to him as well. Here's the 3-2. And another one fouled back, making him work 8 pitches already for Francisco Lindor in this battle.
Ideally, not the way you want a game to start. Nothing more fun than a guy swinging at the first pitch and getting a ground ball at somebody, but this is a battle. Matthews is working.
Fly ball to left. Jorge Bonifacio.
Time for StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Last outing, one of the reasons Matthew Boyd did such a nice job is look at the different pitches he threw for strikeouts. And the fact that they weren't center cut, he got him to chase out of the zone for the most part. One that was down and in, depending on how you look at that one right there. But good job for Matthew, his last outing.
105 pitches against the Royals in his last outing. Here's Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez 2 for 4 last night. He's had a really good series.
Yeah, we've seen enough of him, I think, Shep, you and I, to determine he's a plus. He's a guy that is going to fit into that role for a while, I believe.
Down the left field line.
Kind of
foul.
Solidified second base.
Yeah.
After years of having Jason Kipnis there.
And a guy who leads the league in doubles with 17. One of those doubles coming in this series. Now the 0-2.
Oh.
Held up, 2-2 now to Hernandez. Swing and a miss. Matthew Boyd sits him down for out number 2.
Records his first strikeout on a slider, again underneath the swing of Cesar Hernandez on the right side this time. Back foot slider, that's what we call that one. See how it's actually a changeup, folks. I'm glad we get those slow motions because you can see the ball coming out of his hand, and you saw that circle change. So good sink to it, though. Looked like a slider.
With 2 away, here's Jose Ramirez. And you can imagine the pest he has been when you're 7 for 13 with a couple of homers and a couple of doubles in the series. In foul territory down the left field line, but into the 3rd row. That's it. It was close. And a good chase by Paredes and Castro and Bonifacio. DJ Rayburn calling balls and strikes. Laz Diaz, the crew chief at second base.
Yeah, the umpiring crew finally made a lap around the bases. They all Took a turn at every position. Fourth day of working here in this series.
The 1-1 on the ground to Paredes. He'll hurry the throw and get Ramirez by a step. Clean first center here at Comerica Park. Here's the Tigers batting order presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Victor Reyes went 2 for 4 yesterday. That's 2 straight games of a multi-hit game for the Tigers leadoff man. Austin Romine is back in the lineup. He's batting 7th. And Daz Cameron have a night last night, young man. Game-winning RBI for him after the Tigers came back and beat the Indians 5-2.
They're going to be facing the veteran right-hander Carlos Carrasco. He is 2-4 on the year, making his 11th start of the season. And he's another guy that has battled and battled. You kind of pull for guys like this. His bout with cancer and overcoming that, just a heck of a guy. But we're going to try to pin an L on him here today.
Tigers did last time they faced him. That was back on August 23rd. He lasted just 3 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs, a couple of homers hit off him. Use that type of offense here today. Reyes sends one to left, but that's foul.
Coming out throwing fastballs. You better be ready. He's got a little giddy up.
The 1-2 sliced to left. Oscar Mercado puts it away. 1 out in the Tigers first. Let's look at the Indians starting defense, brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Mercado just caught the first out. 6th game started in left field. Jordan Luplow with his 2nd game start in the series, but first time in right field. Earlier in the series, he was in left. It's the same infield for Sandy Alomar Jr., and Sandy Leon is catching Carlos Carrasco for the 5th time this year. There's Willie Castro, who had his 8-game home hitting streak snapped last night with an 0 for 4. Follows the first pitch back.
We've talked quite a bit here in recent games about the progress that Willie's made. And, you know, every day it's fun to watch him, to see his approach, see how many borderline pitches that he lays off of, see if he chases it all. He's getting better at all those things, in my opinion.
And we saw yesterday with him in a couple of 0-2 counts battle back, force and extend the at-bat a little bit longer. Waits on an 0-2 here. And just probably recognizing pitches as well as any Tiger right now too, Jack.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You can tell just by the way he takes a pitch.
Went too far there. Leon will have to throw him out at first. And does. Hey fans, if Detroit hits 3 homers in this game, visit a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Tigers did hit a couple of homers off Carrasco last time he started against him. 2 away from Miguel Cabrera.
Well, Miggy didn't start last night's game. He came in late to pinch hit, and he drew a walk and kept the wheel moving. Big 8th inning for Detroit to put them in front. 4 runs scored.
Yeah, Cabrera didn't start last night for the first time this season because he wasn't feeling very well, but was available for that pinch hit situation.
I think he fouled off 2 pitches, so he took 2 swings, walked up the plate, took 2 swings, worked a 4-pitch walk, jogged down to first base, and they pinch ran for him. He had a tough night.
Sit back and watch his team celebrate a victory.
Yeah.
After that.
And he was happy to do that.
Cabrera is a .226 lifetime hitter against Carrasco. Has homered off him once, though.
Well, Carlos, when his slider is going good, he's typically going good. He's always had that fastball in the mid-90s, somewhere between 92 to 96. I mean, that's kind of where he settles in. But that's the pitch that when it's working, then all of a sudden he becomes a tougher pitcher. When you can lay off of that and recognize it, basically it's all about whether the ball starts in the zone or not. If it looks like it's not starting in the zone, it's easier to lay off. But he's got a good slider fastball combo. Mixes in an occasional changeup.
Held up to make it 3-2. That walk last night for Cabrera was his 3rd of the series. And he takes strike 3. A couple of punches. The first for Carlos Carrasco and Miguel Cabrera. One long distance kiss and a wave goodbye doing the same. All in good fun, we hope.
Out of respect more than anything, I think Miggy knows what Carlos has gone through, and they've known each other a long time.
Carlos Santana leads off the Cleveland second. Swings and misses at the first offering from Matthew Boyd.
There's a ball right there. Thank you.
Santana's 0 for 11 in this series. A couple of free passes. Looks at ball 1-1 to him. And it's been a mighty struggle for him against the Tigers this year. Just 3 hits against Detroit this season. Average below 100. 1-2. Playing him straight up.
Well, put him away. 2 strikes.
Santana, switch hitter, much better against lefties than righties. By almost 80 points in terms of batting average. Good pitch. He held up, though, to make it 2-2.
You don't really want to show a guy the kitchen sink in his first at-bat. Sometimes it's out of necessity. Gets him to chase the changeup again.
And a pop-up just behind second base for Nico Goodrum.
This matchup is brought to you by Kroger. Matthew Boyd, you see 26 changeups thrown Tuesday versus Kansas City. That's the most since 2017. And already here today, Matthew's recorded 3 outs because of that changeup. A strikeout there to Cesar Hernandez. He got Lindor to pop it up on a changeup, the very first at-bat. And then he just got Carlos Santana to have another pop-up right there.
How important is that pitch for him today against this lineup, do you think?
Well, what I like about it is it forces him to focus, because you cannot spot a changeup unless you get your hand out in front and really have focus on the glove. It's not a pitch, a feel pitch like a fastball or maybe a guy that throws a lot of breaking balls. So he gets a feel for it and he gets that focus, and then like that last curveball, that was as good as he's thrown in a long time.
Blows away
back.
Reyes quickly.
So his rhythm's coming real good because of that changeup. It obviously makes your fastball so much more effective when you have the combination of the two. We call it the in and out factor. See, he spiked that curveball. It's kind of a knuckled curve type thing, but real good tight spin. Strikeout number 2 for Matthew.
There's the breakdown that Jack was referring to earlier against Kansas City. Maybe that's just how important it is in that arsenal. 25% against the Royals, he used that changeup. Now he faces Jordan Luplow. Luplow came in last night's game, pinch hit in the 7th with a man on 3rd and 2 down, and struck out. Pops up, right side. Candelario drifting out. Daz Cameron coming in, battled the wind, and made the grab. Matthew Boyd, 10 pitches is what was needed to get rid.
We wanted to win for Guardian. We wanted to work hard for him. I mean, he's a special person. Obviously, he's very special in the game of baseball, but I see the way he treats other people, whether it's in the hotel or whatever it may be, and he's very inspiring in that sense. And it's somebody that I'll very, very much miss, and hopefully, stay in touch with him just because I value him as a human.
Daniel Norris, last night after the ball game, he went on social media and called Guardy one of his favorite humans. Said he's grateful for the joy, knowledge, and passion that he shared with us every single day. Win or lose, whatever's above respect, you have it. I think that last line is pretty special. And if Guardy's ever called a player's manager, I think he'll take that, Chip.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Johnny. And I love that Daniel Norris said something like that. I mean, that's from the heart,
Yeah.
You could tell that was from the heart. That's not baseball talk. That's not just putting on a face. That is truly what he felt and comes from deep down his soul. I love that about Daniel Norris.
Now, I'd just like to add, as Jamer rounds out first base, is that Daniel referred to him as a person. Didn't even talk to him. That didn't address the baseball aspect of it.
Yeah.
And that says so much about who Ron Gardenhire is.
Hey, and I think Daniel wasn't alone. We'll sprinkle in a couple other comments from some of the other guys last night. Nico Goodrum, Spencer Turnbull. And look, when we're all reflecting on it, we know the managerial record speaks for itself. And nobody will ever question how good of a manager he was. But that's what everybody says they're going to miss, is not necessarily him as his managing style. It's him as a human being, That's the best.
Well, yeah. How many times have you talked to coaches or you talked to people in power or bosses? They don't want to get close to the people they have to manage or coach because they feel like they may have to fire him. He wasn't like that. I mean,
too many to name. Yeah,
he cared about these guys for who they are, not just as baseball players. And that tells you something about the individual. Bonifacio fouls the first 2 pitches he sees back.
Both pitchers doing a nice job getting ahead in counts. Hitters have to be ready to hit. Matthews had 3 innings, and Carrasco's got 4 straight outs. Early pitchers duel.
We've seen it the last couple of days. Spencer Turnbull, who Johnny just mentioned, last night had 5 1-2-3 innings, a career best for him.
He had a really nice game last night, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really good. And that's the performance you hope continues moving forward. Bonifacio went too far, and he strikes out, the 3rd of the day for Carlos Carrasco.
Jorge's getting a little bit of a habit doing that. He doesn't feel like he's swinging, but those check swings are crossing home plate. You can see how far his bat went out in the front of home plate. So first base umpire Tim Timmons rings him up.
It's a good catch by you. I mean, pitchers take note of that.
Absolutely.
Throughout a series.
I don't
mean in a game. I'm talking about throughout a series.
If you can get a guy to be tempted down in the zone with breaking balls like that one right there, they want to get it. They're looking fastball. They're adjusting to the breaking ball, and they just can't pull their hands back quick enough. And they get that barrel out, strike.
Now 0-2 to Nico Goodrum. Goodrum had a hit last night, scored the go-ahead run. His first hit of the series. He tried to hold up and did, according to third base umpire Ryan Blackney. Just 3 hits for Goodrum against Carlos Carrasco, but 2 of them have been homers. They play him to pull, moved his feet, now 2-2. Speaking of those, earlier this year against Carlos Carrasco on August 23rd, remember we told you Carrasco had given up a couple of homers to the Tigers in that game? Well, there's one of them. That's a sweet swing. Here's the 2-2, and he strikes him out. Carrasco looks sharp, so does Matthew Boyd. Tigers celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month by honoring the legacy of former Tiger Guillermo Willie Hernandez, a 1984 World Series champ, American League MVP, and Cy Young Award winner. Somos Tigres. And man, is he special.
Yeah, he had one heck of a big year in '84, winning the Cy Young and the MVP.
You guys just must have felt that when the game is on the line at the end, it's over with him out there. He was more than half his saves that year were over an inning. I mean, you just don't see that anymore. We talk all the time, Jack, about guys throwing 300 innings in a season. You know, guys with the amount of strikeouts. Think about that with those saves.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was in a million games. There's pitchers that, relievers that pitch in 60, 70, 80 games. I think Willie was only in a little shy of 40, but he did the job every single time. Had a great year.
Speaking of that, here's Chevrolet's strongest player, Willie Hernandez, one of just a handful of guys as relief pitchers to win the MVP. It's amazing. It really is. Actually, that year, threw 140 innings. 140 in the third innings in 1984 for a closer. That's unheard of. 80 appearances. 3-time All-Star for the Tigers.
68 games that he finished that year. So
Yeah.
that is a pile.
Yeah. And some impressive names on it, too. Only blew the one save, huh? Oscar Mercado takes it low. Mercado leading off the third, then Sandy Leon and Delano DeShields.
It's quite a group of guys. 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Raleigh Fingers, Dennis Eckersley. There's another quality change up there from Matthew Boyd.
Getting it done today. Picking up where he left off, Jack.
Good command tonight today so far. And look at the location of those changeups, right at the bottom of the zone. Way out ahead, Mercado was. So he picks up strikeout number 3.
It's one of those pitches we'll follow all day because it's one you were talking about earlier. 10 changeups thrown by Matthew Boyd, 9 of them, Jack, for strikes.
Well, look at how much harder that fastball looks. You
Yeah.
know, 93 is 93. It's going to be 93 tomorrow. It was 93 yesterday. But when you're throwing 79, 80 and changeup and spotting it, all of a sudden that 93 looks like 98.
Paredes,
Get there.
off balance throw, and a nice
Good.
play by Candelario to come up the line and make the tag.
Oh, he had the right guy running down the line, a catcher, Sandy Leon. But Isak had to get rid of that ball quickly. On the run, he did. See the footwork. He had no time to set and throw. And then he throws it up the line.
Boy, you hope Candelario's all right because of that tag. He might have
jammed a thumb or
Or
something.
strained something. And I see him immediately grab his wrist. Doug Teeter and Lloyd McClendon out there chatting with Jamer Candelario.
Well, this is the one nightmare all first basemen have, is to throw up the line. You've got to be able to catch the ball, number one, right? And you want to avoid a collision of any kind of contact. And it's so hard to avoid those kind of plays when the guy throws it up the line. Jenner's going to hang in there. Probably going to be a little slow or a little sore for an inning or two. Maybe it'll respond and get better. See how Paredes has to go to his right and throw on the run. Well, that took him up the line. The ball traveled a little deep into the midsection of Sandy Leon. Ideally, Jamer would have liked to have caught it on the grass side of that first baseline and then just reached back and maybe caught him on his shoulder, but you don't have those decisions to make sometimes. It develops so quickly.
Still working through it. Kind of massaging the wrist. Shields pops it up.
Another good inning.
Daz Cameron gives way to Victor Reyes. 11 pitches, Jack, for Matthew Boyd.
Ballpark, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a better head of hair than right here? Dan Dickerson. Look at this cutout here, the radio voice of the Tigers. Danny looking great. Now about Jim Price, 1968 World Series champion. Jimmy looking great. Actually, very handsome man back in the day. Still is. Speaking of handsome, you saved the best for last. Look at Sheppy. Shep, look how good you look, man.
We're trying to keep people in tune. We don't want to scare them. And I'll tell you the better set of hair.
Look how good you look.
You know, the better head of hair.
What's that?
All you got to do is look in the mirror.
Oh, come on. That's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
No, this is great, man. It's a nice cutout. Are we going to auction this off or what?
It'll
Look
go-
at Simo's over here.
it'll go for a
Gibby,
nickel.
Petrie, Jack,
Gibby
the whole crew.
Gibby looks like he's about ready to kick some tail. Doesn't he look like he's ready for a bar fight?
Yeah, every time I see him, that's what I think. That's nothing new.
Look at this.
Romine sends one to right center, and that'll drop.
Wondering about his wrist and whether or not he was strong enough to swing a bat. Well, there you go.
You know, Johnny, when you made mention of the Jim Price, I did not know that was Jim Price, so I went up to him and I said, you're a good-looking guy back in the day. I'm not sure he took it the way I meant it.
Did you say what happened?
That's always like,
What happened?
I mean, you also have to understand, this is several years ago, but very handsome. Dickerson, I want to know.
This was a half century ago. Come on, Johnny.
But with Dickerson, we need to get to the bottom of that haircut.
Well, I
know?
can tell you. You want to know
He's
the
next to
story
you, isn't
behind that?
he? Yeah,
I'll give
what's
you the
the
story.
story?
They were looking for a picture of youth. I don't know why they wanted everybody young except for me. But anyway, and Dickerson said he didn't really have one. His wife, Lori, did not have one. So they contacted Dan's family, and they came up with his high school yearbook picture.
Yeah, the dreaded sister.
Wow.
We're always digging
Yep.
up stuff.
Wow. That's a turtleneck with looks like a corduroy blazer.
Yes.
It's coming back.
That's
I
not.
heard.
No, it's not in your closet. I promise you that.
Johnny, I'll be looking forward to the next time you wear that.
Maybe next season.
Would you take some shears to that hair or what?
No, I actually had hair like that, but from my yearbook photo in college. But we'll leave that alone.
Oh no, we won't.
We'll dig it up. Thanks, Johnny.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Oh man, good stuff. But I'm glad they did do the cutouts, and obviously they're donating to charity, if I'm not mistaken. So the money they raised from having these in here, so
Yeah, good for them.
all good. You look good, Shep.
Thank you, pal. Pictures and photography can do wonders. They can touch it all up. That's the whole key, right? Leadoff single for Austin Romine. First guy to get on base here against Carlos Carrasco. Daz Cameron. We were talking with Lloyd McClendon about Daz Cameron before the game today. What's impressed you most about his mental fortitude? And I thought he gave a great answer, Jack.
Yeah.
Of that ability to bounce back, to persevere, in certain situations when you're struggling.
Not the easiest thing, excuse me, Shep, for a young kid. You know, you get a taste of the big leagues for the first time, struggle for a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half, and everything is doom and gloom, you know. You realize how tough this is up here. But, you know, I think growing up in a baseball family and watching his dad go through a lot of those trying times himself, he's probably a little more advanced than a lot of young guys because he already understands the lifestyle of a major leaguer. And so kind of keeping the nose of the grindstone is something that comes natural for Daz.
Rewarded with his first multi-hit game last night. 2 for 4, including that game-winning RBI.
Worked to a 3-2 count here, so he's doing a nice job there.
And he'll take the walk.
Oh.
First 2 men on for the Tigers here in the third. They got something brewing. And here's Isaac Paredes. But first, a message from MGM Grand Detroit.
We look forward to welcoming you back to all the excitement and grand times you expect. MGM done safely is still MGM.
Romine singled. Cameron worked the walk. Here's Isaac Paredes riding a career-high 6-game hitting streak. Outside for ball 1.
Well, Carrasco's found himself in a little trouble here now. A leadoff hit and then a walk. Nobody out. You got runners at first and second. Brady's is probably trying to move the runners, right? It's one thing you've got to have in the back of your mind when you have an at-bat right here. You know, obviously, first thing is get a good pitch to hit. Don't swing out of the zone, but, you know, he might take a look at the right side, try to hit behind Romine, get him over to third for sure. They're playing him straight away in the infield and the outfield.
Paredes went 2 for 2 against Carrasco earlier this year. To left field. Oscar Mercado makes the catch. Runners hold. 1 away. Can't be home to watch the Tigers? Just download Fox Sports Go on your mobile device and stream Tigers games live. Never miss another Tigers game again with Fox Sports Go. Top of the order for Victor Reyes, who flew out to left his first time up. First 2 base runners of the day for either squad. Matthew Boyd has been dialed in. Carlos Carrasco was through 2, but the leadoff single to Romine, then the walk to Cameron. Reyes sends one to center. DeShields with good range. Romine thought about it and decides to stay. Now there's 2 outs.
Well, after 2 base runners reach with nobody out, quickly Carlos Carrasco kind of gets back with the program and records 2 outs. So you don't want to lose these opportunities. Willie Castro now having an opportunity, first time for him today, to drive in a run.
Castro struck out his first time up.
Couldn't lay off a slider in the dirt.
Playing him a little bit to pull. You see the shortstop Francisco Lindor barely on the shortstop side of second base. Playing behind Romine. Good shot of it right there from our crew. The 1-0 swung on and missed.
Good change up from Carrasco. Willie a little bit out in front. We talk about Matthew Boyd's changeup today and how effective it is. Well, Carrasco says, well, you can do that, I can too, and he throws a really good one there.
11th start of the year for Carlos Carrasco. Here comes the 1-1. Another one swung on and missed.
See the grip here. Slider. One thing about Carrasco, too, is he changes speeds with the slider. It can be anything from 88 to 92, 93. He's got various speeds that he throws that slider at.
2-2 now to Willie Castro. Two of Castro's 5 homers on the season have come against the Indians. All they're looking for here is a single. Try to get a run home. Try to get the early lead against the Tribe. Foul back. Cleveland won the series opener 10-3. Won a pitcher's duel 1-0 the following night. Detroit bounced back in a 5-2 victory last night. A win today would give them a weekend series split. The 2-2 swung on and missed. Willie Castro overmatched by Carlos Carrasco. Tigers strand 2 in the third. What does the playoff race look like in the American League and the National League? We'll give you an update in case you missed it next. That's a good question, Nick. I mean, who's the one team you think is a little bit more susceptible than others? Good information on Twins and Yankees in postseason head-to-head matchups. It's not like you want to face Tampa. I don't know. It's a really tough question. Wouldn't want to face that White Sox offense, but with Tampa's pitching, you just never know. Speaking of pitching, Matthew Boyd's been pretty darn good so far. Second time through the order now. Retired 9 in a row as we begin the fourth. 1-2 to Francisco Lindor. Good sliding save made by Austin Romine. Speaking of the playoffs, let's take a look at what those numbers look like. A big question, too, is can Seattle or Los Angeles or the Tigers or the Orioles catch Toronto for the second wild card spot?
Going to be tough.
Yeah.
Running out of time.
It could be playable. Candelario giving chase and can't catch up to it.
I wonder how much more difficult it is for Jamer being on the other side of the diamond. You know, he's been so used to those foul balls from the third base, and the balls are always going away from you when they head towards the seats, but it's got to be a different look from first base than it is from third base.
Lindor smashes one to center. Reyes will take care of it. Toronto, by the way, has lost 6 in a row, so they are susceptible, even though they've got that lead. Here's the National League look. Miami continues to impress. I think what might surprise people, that only one team has clinched so far, and that's L.A. It's a good race in that wild card. This is the fun part about it. There's a lot of teams still alive. I mean, if you're in New York and Colorado, you say, yeah, I'm still in this thing for sure.
Well, certainly that was part of the ownership's hope here with the no fans to
Right.
have more teams involved in postseason. There's more games to be played and thus more broadcasts. But I think it also would have created a ton more interest had fans been allowed, you know. I mean,
Absolutely.
they would be out here in full force with all those teams trying to stay alive.
It's 1-2 to Cesar Hernandez.
There's our fans. They all look a little flat today, but
They're smiling, though.
yeah, every one of them.
You saw Cleveland in that mix. 4 games above 500. Some of those smiling faces that we miss in person. A one-hopper to Nico Goodrum. Takes his time to register out number 2 here in the 4th. And now a message from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
Check out the 2020 Ford F-150 now at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
Shep told you earlier about Spencer Turnbull last night having 5 1-2-3 innings. Well, we're only in the 4th, but Matthew has a chance for his 4th straight. He's on cruise right now, a tough out, maybe the toughest out in their lineup in Jose Ramirez. But it's been fun to watch. Matthew has really had great command today, and he's mixed in all 3 of his pitches.
Well, that's what it's about, right? I mean, you say that on a pretty regular basis. Command and versatility.
You know what makes it hard? There's one part of the equation, is the human element, man. We're not robots.
Yeah.
And your mind you can train your mind to have tremendous focus. And then on a given day, your body doesn't respond and your hand-eye coordination is somewhat altered, and you're looking and searching every pitch for a pitcher that's thrown maybe 1 million pitches in his career already. Matthew's looking for that perfect release point for every one of the pitch, because they are all our different grips, all our different spins. And of course, then you throw in location, which is, you know, I don't know exactly what the dimensions are of the strike zone. It varies from hitter to hitter.
Paredes.
Nice job.
And Matthew Boyd has faced 12 hitters and retired. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire, home of the lowest tire price period and a contact-free experience. And by GMC, visit your local Metro Detroit Buick GMC dealer today for exceptional offers all month long. Good shot of our town. Comerica Park, right in the middle of it, for the 4th and final game of this weekend set against the Indians. Miguel Cabrera, Jeimer Candelario, and Jorge Bonifacio for the Tigers here in the 4th in a scoreless duel that has seen a combined 1 hit. That's it. It was an Austin Romine single to lead off the 3rd. Cabrera grounds one to Lindor. Dropped it for a moment, takes his time, and handles it with ease. Time for your T-Mobile ticket to the game. Let's take a look at the possible National League Cy Young Award winners. Who would you give the nod to there, Jack?
Well, believe it or not, I'd give it to Trevor Bauer. I think his numbers overall are the best. Darvish having a great comeback year, and DeGrom, he's in that conversation, seems like every year. And, you know, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. Man, I'd like that as our rotation.
How much do wins matter? Darvish has 7 wins. That's tied for the Major League lead. I'd probably...
Usually that means a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that means a lot. And that's usually how they pick the Cy Young Award winner, is who's got the most wins.
Yeah, I would probably side with Darvish right now out of the Cubs. As much as Bauer's numbers are impressive, he is 4-4. Max Fried deserves some consideration. Now remember, he recently was hurt for Atlanta. But Max Fried has 7 wins. He's got an ERA of 1.96. And a better WAR than all of them. I mean, if you're looking at that category, which oftentimes voters do, 0-2 to Candelario. Max Fried has a 3.1 wins above replacement. And right now our crew is going, why are you talking about a guy who's not
We
on
didn't
the
put him on the
graphic?
list, Shep. Why?
No.
You know, what's up with our crew today? You know, everybody has an off day once in a while. Hey, I just want to shout out to all the guys. I held court here a little this morning, and we had a big group of our camera guys and our stage guys, and we had a blast. I lost my voice I was talking too much, Shep, but you know, last home game, maybe it is for me anyway. And we don't see the same group down at the studio sometimes, so it was good to catch up with them all, and what a great group of guys.
They are the best. The men and women who
And
work on
gals,
this broadcast and are many of the same who work on all the broadcasts in this great town for our home shows, and we can't thank them enough. They're wonderful family members, there's no doubt. 2-2 to Jamer Candelario. Candelario grounded to first, his first time up, back in the second. Carrasco just had a little bit of a bump. It was back in the third. First two men on, then retired the next three in order. And he strikes out Jamer Candelario. That's punch out number 6 on the day for the Indians.
Boy, these two guys are really dialed in. Carrasco's showing that he's got that good slider today, and now he runs on one up the ladder, 93 fastball, two-seamer with a little tail. That's his 6th strikeout. You wonder if Jamer's wrist is okay.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You can't help but wonder that. Of course, we wondered the same thing about Austin Romine, and he's got the only hit of the day. Speaking of strikeouts, Jorge Bonifacio was a strikeout victim in the second. Check swing grounder to third. Ramirez on the charge.
There he is again with that check swing.
And another good inning for Carlos Carrasco. But Matthew Boyd has been a little bit better. He's faced 12 hitters so far and retired them all. He heads to the 5th and will face number 4. Thank you, Tigers fans. As part of Fan Appreciation Month, enjoy 25% off all regularly priced Tigers merchandise at the Comerica Park D Shop throughout the entire month of September. Shop safely and save at the Comerica Park D Shop. For information, call 313-471-2673. Carlos Santana, Franmil Reyes, and Jordan Luplow to face Matthew Boyd here in the 5th. Check swing that didn't go far enough, and it's 2-0.
No, that's as far as you want it to go. You've got to get back in the count here, stay on the roll, regain that focus, find your release point, hit the glove.
Inside, 3-0 to Carlos Santana. Second all-time in Cleveland history in walks. Only Jim Thome has watched more. There's the strike he needed. Here comes the 3-1. Right back up the middle. And on the back, oh, it's just under the glove of Nico Goodrum. Thought he had it for a moment. Snuck under the glove, and that's the first hit for the Indians here today. A leadoff single in the 5th.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch for Matthew Boyd today. He's been spot on. He's used all his pitches. These first two are fastballs. You can see the results there. Really good breaking ball, a couple curveballs here. Gets 2 outs there, and then the changeup has been effective today too. Just using all pitches. Falls behind Carlos Santana here at the top of the 5th inning after retiring the lineup. Like Shep said, 12 straight hitters. He fell behind and he had to throw fastballs. And guess what? Carlos Santana, a really good fastball hitter. He knows the count. Did what he's supposed to do. Used the middle of the field. Beats a hard hit ground ball past Matthew Boyd. And so Matthew gives up his first hit. Now he's got to kind of regroup and work on Franmil Reyes.
behind Reyes 2-0. Reyes struck out on 3 pitches in the second. And a second straight hitter where Matthew Boyd's gone 3-0. Hold on. 3-1.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch for Matthew Boyd today. 93 on his fastball. That's where he's topped out so far. 71 is changeup.
The 3-1 popped foul.
Boy, if he could just drop that back foot slider or that curveball right now, and Reyes, I think he'd have him. This guy loves to extend his arms. We've seen it here at Comerica Park. We saw it in Cleveland. He's strong. And when he gets those arms extended, especially up in the zone, you got to be careful. Soft away, down and in. You got to have the courage to do it, though. 3-2 counts, nobody out. You got a runner at first. You know, most pitchers always go back to what they think is going to be their best pitch, or what, you know, they feel in the back of their mind is, I can throw this for a strike more than I can the other one. Sometimes you got to take a chance and throw your secondary pitches. In these counts, he throws the changeup there and falls behind him.
Well, remember the Tigers had the first 2 men aboard in the third with a single and a walk, and Carrasco was able to get out of it. Matthew Boyd has put Cleveland in the same situation here in the 5th and needs to get out of it.
Well, he's going to get 6, 7, 8 hitters now.
Jordan Luplow flew out to Daz Cameron in right to end the second. And we've seen this a lot from Cleveland hitters. Tiger pitchers getting ready to deliver on the mound, getting the sign, coming to a set position, and then granted time.
I sense that, Shep, you're kind of coming around. You're kind of understanding what we go through sometimes out there and the annoyance of that happening. You know, in reality, you can't let the other team see that it bothers you. It bothers you, right? You're trying. We're all victims of habit, and we want our rhythm and all those things to kind of be consistent, and their job is to upset our rhythm. That's why they're doing it. So you can't let them know that you're annoyed. The best thing you can do is throw the next pitch for a strike. Have a quality pitch, the very next pitch, and say, you're just wasting my time. Just get in there because you're going to go take a right turn.
Yeah, get them out, right? I mean, that's
the bottom line.
One and one to Luplow, who's 0 for 4 in the series. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
Another good changeup there. Matthew and Austin Romine are really calling a good game together. Romine, of course, the catcher, he senses things sometimes that the pitcher doesn't see, the footwork and stuff like that. But that's what all the scouting reports are. That's why they have cards in their back pocket to remind them what they throw in these counts in this situation.
The 1-2 popped foul. Romine has caught Boyd now 8 times in the 11 starts. Santana led off with a single. Reyes followed with a walk. Matthew Boyd trying to get an out. Ripped to left. Santana will score. Cleveland has the early lead. An RBI single from Jordan Luplow.
You know, I really get frustrated with having to compliment this, but look at where the location is again. Now, he's thrown some really good curveballs. That one was your typical, you would throw that in the first pitch sometimes. We call that the get me over breaking ball, right? You're throwing it basically right down the middle. And Luplow had seen one pitch slow, right? He threw that changeup to him, the previous pitch, so he kind of had the timing down. It was the same speed as the breaking ball. And he sits back, the ball's cut right down center, and he just knocks it into left. So Cleveland scores first.
And now Oscar Mercado tries to add to it. Squares to bunt. Back to Boyd. He'll take the out at first. Mercado does his job on the sacrifice. Tigers got the out, but 2 men in scoring position now for Cleveland.
Good bunt. He bunts it to the right side. Matty doesn't have time to go over to third.
That was not a dog squealing in the background. That was somebody, I believe, in the
Cleveland
dugout. Yeah. And I'm not sure we would have heard such a screech had folks been here at Comerica Park with the noise permeating, but we did hear today, and now you know. Here's Sandy Leon.
Well, we've heard a few things we normally don't hear, that's for sure.
That's a good point. As Leon sends one to left on the jog, Bonifacio. Reyes will not score because it was too shallow, and there's 2 away.
That was crucial. That's a big out right there. First run's already come across to break up the shutout, but getting this out right here, now you got 2 outs and you have a chance to strand the runners at second and third.
Stylish look from Jorge Bonifacio in left, huh? Those are the sunglasses you wear on the trail in your big pickup.
I don't even have a pair of sunglasses right now because when your eyes get this bad, you need prescription, and I haven't found any that work because they're all round. And I'm sorry, I'm not wearing the Harry Carey glasses.
DeShields, first pitch swinging, drills one to center, bobbled by Reyes. 2 runs will score, and DeShields will take advantage by hurrying into second base.
Well, that hurt right there. He goes to second on the error. Again, look where the location is. Change up down the middle.
Yep. Now Rick Anderson with a chat. Three runs home for Cleveland here in this 5th inning.
It just shows how this game can really be so challenging. You know, Matthew seemed like he was throwing a perfect game through 4 innings, and really seemed to be in great command. And then falls behind the leadoff man, Carlos Santana. He gets a hit. Then he walks Reyes. Another hit by Luplow that scores Santana. And a couple outs recorded, but they move the runners in scoring position. DeShields gets the base hit up the middle, goes to second on the bobble by Victor Reyes. And you're all 3 runs before you blink, and you're back in the dugout at the end of the half inning saying, how did that happen? Trust me, it's happened to me so many times when I was young, and quite honestly, it happens throughout your career occasionally. And you just hope your teammates can pick you back up, and that's the end of your you got your bad inning out of the way.
You saw that in the opener when Cleveland had scored 4 runs in the first game of this series, and it was kind of left open because of a fielding error by Isaac Paredes in that 4th inning. Errors and walks tough to overcome. The guy who walked in this inning, Franmil Reyes, was one of those 2 runs that just scored. It's 0-2 to Francisco Lindor. He gets timeout. The 0-2. On the ground is short. Willie Castro on the backhand. That's a nice play.
Yes,
but
it
Cleveland
was.
scores 3 times in the 5th, and they're up in Detroit.
Major League Baseball celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the contributions made to our great game by the Latino community, both past and present. Visit lasmayores.com for full coverage. And you want to look at the Latin influence here on the Detroit Tigers roster. You can go from the top down. Reyes, Bonifacio, Castro, the list goes on. Candelario, and you can look all across. Obviously, Isaac Paredes from Mexico. But I believe, if I haven't gotten it wrong, 7 of the 9 players in our starting lineup today, guys, of Latin descent.
Yeah, heavy influence and a positive influence. So how well they play the game, how passionate they are for the game.
The other day they had the Zoom call that Dan Dickerson, we were talking about Dan earlier, he hosted that Zoom call with some of the former Latin players for the Tigers, and we heard the stories just about how they had gotten to the major leagues. And look, it's tough for anybody. It's such a global game, but you listen to some of the stories about where they come from in order to get here to play on the biggest stage. It's remarkable. And even Dan was saying he was like sitting there with his jaw open about, where they come from and to make it here. It's honestly, it's remarkable.
And inspiring, too.
Yeah. Dream big, as they say.
Amen. Right on. Everybody should have that. Doesn't matter where you're from. Dream big.
Say what?
Go achieve it.
Don't be afraid of hard work.
Right. Reach for it. Amen to that. Nico Goodrum leads off the Tigers' 5th. Then it'll be Austin Romine and Daz Cameron. On the ground, into the shift for Cesar Hernandez. There's one away.
Carrasco had a little bit of a bump in the road in the 3rd inning. Shep mentioned that he gave up a leadoff hit to Romine, then a walk to Daz. Romine up right now. But he was able to regroup and get the next 3 in order. Then he had a shutdown 1, 2, 3, 4th. One out quickly here in the 5th.
Romine didn't play yesterday because the injury to his wrist that he suffered on Friday night, but his replacement yesterday, Eric Haas, was our player of the game and talked to us on Tigers Live, and well, that was enjoyable, wasn't it? Had a couple of hits.
Such a happy kid. What a big moment. What a big day. Growing up in this community and finally getting to fulfill that dream every kid has, playing for your hometown team.
Yeah, I hope he had a really nice chat with his family after the game. They're beaming with pride, and rightfully so. 1-1 to Austin Romine. Fouled away. That's what happened to him Friday night with Gregory Soto on the bump.
Funny story Gardy was telling. He handed the ball to Soto and said something to the effect that go after this guy and knock him out, right? Then he knocks out my catcher.
Not what he had in mind.
Yeah.
That wasn't what Austin Romine had in mind when he stepped into the box. He leaves as a strikeout victim, the number 7 strikeout victim for Carlos Carrasco today.
High fastball. Drop and drive.
2 outs here in the 5th. Here's Daz Cameron. One of 2 base runners for the Tigers. Romine, we'd mentioned, with a single. Cameron then followed with a walk back in the 3rd. Unfortunately for Detroit, they were left stranded as Carrasco settled down and got Paredes, Reyes, and Willie Castro. 1-1 now to Daz Cameron.
Well, Shane Bieber struck out 10 guys in the first game of this series. Then Zach Plesac struck out 11. He topped him. And already Carrasco's got 7. Foul ball there. Talking about Romine's day, look what Daz Cameron did the last couple nights. This was 2 nights against Brad Hand. We got a triple. And then last night, a huge hit to right field. Time scored Nico. I think that was the go-ahead run.
That triple by Cameron that we just showed you was his first extra base hit. He became the 12th Tiger since 2000 to hit a triple as their first major league extra base hit. Behind in the count, 1-2. Right back to Carrasco. Tigers go 1-2-3 here in the 5th. Carrasco has Hill, and he'll work against Cesar Hernandez, Jose Ramirez, and Carlos Santana. Tigers down 3 after Matthew Boyd allowed the first 3 hitters in the last inning to reach base, and all of them scored.
Yeah, that's the game so far. He was really locked in for 4. Carrasco's been locked in for 5.
The 1-1 to Cesar Hernandez. Swung on and missed. Boyd is 2-5 with an ERA under 4 in his career against Cleveland. And Hernandez drives one to center. Reyes started in, and it goes over his head.
Get it in.
Hernandez is going to hold on at second base. A leadoff double for Cesar Hernandez, his league-leading 18th of the year.
Victor Reyes gets twisted around a little bit here. It's a line drive right over his head, and you can see how he was just fading to his left. The ball kind of went over his right shoulder. You don't see that very often. Victor must have misjudged that a little bit. It's going to go down as a double, though. Boyd here to start the 6th inning.
One and 0 to Jose Ramirez. He's grounded out to third twice. Two and 0 to him. Ramirez, the team leader in homers and runs batted in. The 2-0 fouled away.
Every once in a while, Matthew Boyd will drop down a little bit from 3/4 to almost sidearm, and it seems like every time he does that, it's a slider. And I'm just wondering if hitters pick that up occasionally. They see him drop down, they know it's going to be a breaking ball.
Well, that's something you and Dan Petrie talked about on Tigers Live
Yeah.
before his last start. on whether or not there was some type of indication for hitters to pick something up in his delivery. He seemed to clean it up last time out against Kansas City.
Well, what you have to do is every once in a while, if you're going to do that, and that's fine, you can throw, drop down a little on your breaking ball. You want to just really have a big break on the.
This one, line to left, and it's gone. Jose Ramirez continues to torment the Tigers. His third homer of the year against Detroit, and Cleveland has opened up a 5-0 lead.
Boy, he was locked in on that pitch. It was like batting practice for him. He was not fooled whatsoever. Lloyd McClendon kind of forced to go get Matthew Boyd. Here's the last pitch. It was a changeup, but look at it again. Right down the middle. He was sitting on it.
Number 14 that reaches the seats for Ramirez. Dialed in, only threatened a little bit, and that came in the third, but got himself out of it.
Had a pair of base runners, only one hit allowed in the third inning. But then they started getting to Matthew Boyd, and that started in the fifth inning. They put 3 on the board and added 2 more with the home run by Ramirez. And now Nick Ramirez is going to try to stop the bleeding and move this game along.
He's facing Carlos Santana for his first hitter of the day. Wall side windows pitching change. 4th time we've seen Nick Ramirez. Ahead in the count, 1-2. Santana started the 5th off Matthew Boyd with a single. It was a 3-0 count, then 3-1, and he hit one right back up the middle, just under the glove of Niko Goodrum, who come around and score on Jordan Luplow's RBI single. Ramirez makes quick work of him there.
Nick Ramirez got a very good changeup, and that's his bread and butter. He throws it right there to get his first strikeout. Down in the zone, Santana tries to hold his hands back long enough to make contact, but it doesn't work.
Now here's Franmil Reyes. This big guy walked and scored back in the 5th after striking out in the 2nd. Matthew Boyd retired the first 12 batters he faced and then ran into trouble in the 5th, giving up 3 runs. Allowed 2 more here to start the 6th before giving way to Nick Ramirez. Two and 1 now to Franmil Reyes. 8 homers on the year for Reyes, 7 on the road. Upstairs, 3-1. Pulled the string, 3-2. And he walks for the 2nd consecutive time. You can now text us. Text 313-710-5177 for exclusive content and direct access to Fox Sports Detroit and our broadcasters. For all the inside scoop on your favorite Detroit teams, just text 313-710-5177 today. Here's Jordan Luplow. That RBI single back in the 5th for Luplow, just his 6th run driven in this year. But I got Cleveland on the board early, and they haven't looked back.
Tyler Naquin has been playing right field against the right-handed pitchers, and with the lefty, Luplow gets his shot as a right-handed hitter. Stays in the game because Lloyd McClendon brought in Ramirez, the left-handed pitcher.
And he would have made that change because Luplow's numbers against righties are really bad, under 100. Only has 3 hits against righties. Here's the 1-1. Way out in front. Started the series opener in left, but he's playing right field here today. The 1-2, sliced foul. Inside 2-2.
One thing about Nick Ramirez is he's a guy that has to really have good command because he depends so much on his off-speed pitch to get guys out. And I've always said this about change-up artists. They have to really have great command. It's so much harder. They don't have room for error on swing and miss pitches very often. They're not going to fool you with a breaking ball. They're not going to fool you with a fastball. And the guys that are patient and can eyeball that changeup and trust that they can adjust to the fastball and not get beat are going to really put pressure on a guy like Nick. So here he is, 3-2 count again, and you know he wants to get to a changeup, but it's not really a changeup count. Although he throws it anyway because that's what he throws. Right down the middle, Luplow just able to get a piece of it. Kind of a excuse me swing there.
Oscar Mercado studying Ramirez from the on-deck circle. Another 3-2 from Ramirez. On a line to left field and in front of Jorge Bonifacio for Jordan Luplow's 2nd hit of the day.
Well, again, 3-2 count. He's got to throw a strike, right? And it wasn't a bad location. It was a changeup. He saw 4 of them in that at bat. That's one of the problems. So his timing was down. He went down and got it. And like his last hit, drove it to left field.
Two aboard with 1 man down for Oscar Mercado, who struck out in the 3rd and laid down a good-looking sacrifice bunt his last time up to move the runners up, and it paid off for Cleveland. Mercado looking for his first hit in the series and first hit against the Tigers this year. Follows it back. A lot of players binge-watched TV shows during the pandemic. For Oscar Mercado, it was Prison Break and Money Heist. Those were the 2 shows that he binge-watched, and he can watch from the bench. Strikes out for the second time.
Very good changeup again from Nick Ramirez.
Now with 2 away, Ramirez faces Sandy Leon. Leon grounded to third in the third and flew out to left in the fifth. Right at Willie Castro for the third and final out. The Cleveland tacks on 2 more. Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month by honoring the legacy of former Tiger Placido Polanco, 2006 American League champion and American League Championship Series MVP as well. Somos Tigres, Placido Polanco.
He could hit a little bit, couldn't he?
Oh, yeah. I think he's another one of those guys. When you watched him every day,
Yeah, he was underrated.
yeah, you truly appreciated him, right?
Yep.
Man, he had a long career. He played 16 years in the bigs. Paredes fouls the first pitch back. 2-time All-Star, once with the Tigers. Won 3 Gold Gloves, 2 with the Tigers. And by the way, he was also a Silver Slugger winner, too, during 2007. You bet $297 in 16 seasons, you can play.
Yeah, you can hit.
Yep. One and 2 to Isaac Paredes. It'll be Paredes, then Reyes, and then Willie Castro against Carlos Carrasco.
Bottom half of the 6th inning, Carrasco's just been on cruise control. He has really been sharp here this afternoon, pretty much locating all his pitches where he wants to. That one got away from him a little bit, tried to overthrow with that slider.
Most pitches in an inning for Carrasco so far today was the third. That's when Detroit put the first 2 men aboard, and he needed 19 to get through that inning. Everything else very much in range and where Jack says you have to be. Fouled away. Good hands by Ramon Santiago down there in the third base box. Those haven't left him.
No, that's been consistent for a lot of years.
The 2-2 lifted to right. Loop low near the foul line, 1 away. Menards brings you the big money encounter. His first career start for Carlos Carrasco was against the Tigers. And speaking of Placido Polanco, in 2009, he homered, and then so did Carlos Guillen. Tigers beat Carlos Carrasco up for 6 runs on that day.
Maglio.
Gerald Laird. I think that was Gerald Laird who went yard there. How about that? 8-6 the final against Cleveland there. 5-0 Indians lead here. Top of the order, Victor Reyes. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Couple of flyouts for Reyes. To left and to center. Pops it up. Shallow left. Mercado will take control. And 2 away. Carrasco a lot better than his last start against the Tigers. That was on August 23rd. He only lasted 3 1/3 that day. Gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs.
You know, we go back to these chances, the opportunities.
Yeah.
In third inning, it was still early in the ball game. You get your first 2 guys on, and you're thinking, okay, let's run one across the board. It was a tie game at the time. Matthew Boyd was really dealing himself through the first 3. And instead of getting him an early lead, Carrasco gets 3 quick outs. Cleveland goes back in their dugout, and they come out and score 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. And now Carlos has got a whole bunch of runs to work with. There's his pitching arsenal today.
Whole complexion of the game changed.
It really did.
And Willie Castro has just looked very uncomfortable against Carrasco today. Struck out in the 1st and in the 3rd.
Yeah, breaking balls down the bottom of the zone and out of the zone low, and then high riding fastballs, and he's just kind of been caught in between today. Seems like he's looking for one, he gets the other.
And he strikes out on 3 pitches here to end, had runners in the corners with only 1 away. And Jose Ramirez hit a bullet right to Jeimer Candelario, who stayed with it to convert the double play on Cesar Hernandez. Tigers end up winning that ball game 5-2. Jeimer Candelario has already made 1 nice play here today. When a ball was thrown up the first base line a little bit, he reached out, made the tag on the runner, but hurt his wrist a little bit on the play.
Yeah, that play last night really changed the whole game. You know, that was a key situation there. And Jeimer actually kind of snow-coned that ball. I don't know if you remember that, but it kind of ran up inside his glove. So he kind of looked at it and re-squeezed it, and then at that point, the runner kind of snuck around him, Hernandez, and he stayed with him. He dove at him, and he got the tag applied before Hernandez could get back to the base.
It was important because at the time, it was 2-1 Cleveland, and then Detroit ends up scoring 4 in their half of the inning. Paredes throws off balance, makes a nice play to start the 7th. Tigers have tomorrow off. Don't forget to join us Tuesday night as the Tigers start their final road trip of the season in Minnesota with a 2-game series against the Twins. Game coverage begins at 6:30 with Tigers Live. That's Tigers and Twins on Tuesday at 6:30 on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Go. That Minnesota team has clinched a playoff spot. Here's Francisco Lindor. Tampa, Chicago, Minnesota, and Oakland have clinched in the American League. And Minnesota rests 3 games back of Chicago's pace in the division at the start of play today. Jack, you and I were talking before the season began. We said, how many wins do you think it will take to reach postseason play? And I think we agreed that you need somewhere in the neighborhood of 30. And then we said, how about if you win the division? And we thought 35 might be the magic number. And Tampa has 35. Chicago has 34. Oakland has 33.
And the crazy thing is, which team has been the most consistent here in the last couple of weeks? We got a little more than a week to go, and then it all starts. And you want to really be all set up so that you can set up your pitching staff, your rotation. Obviously, some teams are going to get a bye because they don't have to play that wild card round. But it'll be interesting. Postseason is going to be, again, like the season itself, very different this year.
1-out walk for Francisco Lindor. Speaking of the playoffs, here's the bracket. If playoffs started today, and consistent is one thing. So the team that has the most wins has probably been the most consistent, right? Sure. But who's the hottest team? Well, that would have to be the Yankees right now,
and
because they've won 10 in a row.
the Twins have had a lousy history of playing the Yankees in postseason baseball. It's been a long, long time since they've got through them, and in order for them to ever get to the World Series, it seems like they're going to have to go through the Yankees. So, Yankees playing good ball right now.
Yeah, they've won
And
10 straight.
They've got a dominant pitcher to start the first game of the series, and Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole, yeah. Tampa has won 4 in a row coming into play today.
Tampa's just been they always go under the radar. There's a team that I just don't think throughout the baseball world they give them enough love.
Well, you know why that is, though. You play in the same division as the Yankees and the Red Sox. Those are two teams that, from a national perspective, don't do much wrong.
No, well, Boston is they're at the bottom of the cellar this year. Maybe we should emphasize that. Did you hear that, folks? Boston, last place.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but only Texas has a worse record in the American League. On the ground,
Turn it.
to Willie Castro. Goodrum's turn, skips by Candelario.
He guided that ball to first base instead of throwing.
That allows Hernandez to reach second with 2 away.
Ball's hit hard. Willie does a real nice job getting the ball right up where Nico would want it, and then Nico throws the ball in the dirt. Jamer not able to pick it. Right there in the chest, takes his time, kind of guides the ball, didn't throw it. And that time it came up and hit Jamer in the throwing hand. So he's getting beaten up over there.
Second error for the Tigers today. You leave the inning alive for Jose Ramirez. Ramirez hit a 2-run homer his last time up. Traveled 378 feet. Drives one to deep left center. Reyes on the run. That ball's into the bullpen as well. Another 2-run blast for Jose Ramirez.
Man.
His second 2-homer game in the series. And now Cleveland has opened it up big. 7-0 Tribe.
Well, this is a slider that doesn't slide. And again, center cut. This is batting practice for Jose Ramirez. He faced Nick Ramirez in Nick's previous outing against Cleveland in this series. Oh, my.
But two-run homers for Jose Ramirez has propelled Cleveland to a 7-0 lead coming up to DTE's 7th inning stretch at home.
Ramirez on his birthday against Casey Mize. He hits a pair of home runs, has a big game. And then here tonight again, or today again here at Comerica Park, Matthew Boyd, he gets him early, and then he just got his second home run in this game against Nick Ramirez. So it's been quite a series for that guy. When he gets hot, he is one of those guys that can just go off in a week or two, and he really has here as of late.
Yeah, that's 16 multi-homer games for Jose Ramirez in his career, and as we mentioned, 2 in this series already. I don't know what you do against him. The bigger question is, what do you do against Carlos Carrasco?
Well, right now you just try to get a pitch you can handle, right? I mean, this is another one of those lopsided games that is frustrating for all involved other than Cleveland, and you're just trying to find something good to take out of it for your next one. Carrasco's dialed in tonight, and it's got to tip your hat to him, but we've done that so many times with Cleveland pitching, it gets kind of old, Shep.
8 strikeouts so far for Carlos Carrasco as he goes to work here in the 7th, and the pitch count, Jack, very comfortable as well, just 79 pitches through 6.
Yeah, there's a good chance that he's going to pitch in the 8th or 9th inning here today.
It'll be Miguel Cabrera, Jeimer Candelario, and Jorge Bonifacio for Detroit here in the 7th. Cabrera was a strikeout victim back in the 1st. Only 3 Tigers have not struck out against Carlos Carrasco. That would be Reyes, Cameron, and Paredes. Willie Castro has struck out 3 times today.
Well, to kind of put it in perspective for Carrasco, he's got a 7-run lead here. He's in the 7th inning with 80 pitches. He comes out, his first fastball to Miggy, the best one he's thrown all day, hit 96. 95 on that one. So he's starting to feel it. He's starting to sense the end. And, you know, a lot of guys have a little extra there when they know they can pitch through the end of the game, or at least the end of their outing. Change up there.
2-2 now to Cabrera. Chased upstairs. Strikeout number 9 for Carlos Carrasco.
You know, I know these guys are playing top me if you can. Beaver set the tone with 10. Plesac had 11. And now Carrasco's got 9, and he wants to catch those 2 guys and get into double digits. He reaches back here, climbs the ladder. Miggy got it started, couldn't catch up.
Carrasco struck out Candelario the last time they met in the 4th, and quickly ahead of him 0-1.
Pretty consistent there. Shep mentioned it earlier. His big inning was the 3rd inning. Tigers had 2 base runners, but he has really been consistent all those other innings under 15, and that's excellent.
Candelario's been on base a couple times in the series via the walk, but he's 0 for 13 this weekend against Cleveland.
We'll figure, right? Baseball, American League Player of the Week.
Yeah.
And then you have a tough week like this. Ronnie Garcia getting loose out there in the Tiger pen. He'll probably get an inning or 2 of work here to finish this one off.
1-2, grounded foul. And now a message from DTE Energy.
A lower energy bill and an efficient home are clicks away. Go to DTEinteractiveHome.com.
You know, the week started out great with a 6-0 shutout of Kansas City. But after that, it's been tough scoring runs for the Tigers. 2-2 to Candelario. After the 6-0 victory over KC, the Royals punched back with a 4-0 shutout. Detroit was shut out against Cleveland in the series opener until the 8th and ended up losing 10-3. Then it was a 1-0 final for Cleveland before Detroit scratched across a couple of late runs and beat them 5-2 last night in thrilling fashion.
That 1-0 loss, that one hurt. That one bit a little bit because we had our chances late. Just couldn't come up with the timing we hit.
Yep.
Tie the game.
Including in the 9th. That's the one you just had the feeling, man, they're coming back. They're going to win this game. This one poked foul. And you're waiting for that key hit. We've seen it a number of times this season. Not as many as we'd like, or not as many as they would have liked, but many a time this season, and they just couldn't get it done. They've got the shift on for Jeimer Candelario. 2-2, and he's hanging tough. They'll do it again. Skips in there. It's now a full count.
Jamer laying off that slider there. That one bounced. Saw that one come out of his hand pretty good.
Here's the payoff. And they walked him.
First base runner since the third inning.
And now here's Jorge Bonifacio. Oh for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out for Bonifacio.
Let's watch and see if he has any of those check swings again. It's getting to be a habit he's got to try to break out of.
Yeah, saw it a lot yesterday. Saw it on the strikeout in the second, and you mentioned it too in the third when he just had a half-hearted check swing to third base.
Hitting coaches drives them nuts. They want you to take a pass at a ball. If you commit, go ahead and swing. You know, sometimes you're going to be early, sometimes you're going to be late. You still might get a piece of it and follow it out, stay alive. Those check swings like that right there, it's just a habit that he gets into. And you're better off just freezing. If you're not going to commit to it, keep those hands back.
It'd be interesting to see, how do you get out of something like
It's
that?
not an easy thing to do.
Maybe Craig Monroe can answer that for us on Tigers Live. Here's the 0-2, wave and a miss. There's double-digit strikeouts for Carlos Carrasco, and there's 2 away in the Tigers' 7th.
Yeah, matching Bieber's outing with his 10th here today. Good slider, good tilt.
Now Niko Goodrum stands in. Worth noting, the Tigers only have the 1 hit. It was an Austin Romine leadoff single in the third. They only had 3 base runners. A walk to Cameron in that same inning, and a walk here with 1 away to Candelario. Quickly 0-2 to Goodrum.
And the shift there on Nico, and all the infielders except for Carlos Santana are back on the grass. We saw that with Miguel Cabrera in Kansas City, but we haven't seen that yet with Nico.
Bounces away from Leon. Candelario will take advantage and move up to second.
Be a wild pitch.
Goodrum struck out in the second and grounded to second in the 5th. Two and 2.
Cam
Cam Hill on the right side warming. James Karinchak just kind of lobbing a ball up to himself for right now on the left.
101st pitch, 102nd pitch for Carrasco here.
The 2-2 popped foul.
Look at the hustle. Look at the hustle
hustling here. Over and just
man.
off the end of his glove.
Heck of an effort there. He
Yeah.
couldn't get his head up to see the ball and find the ball after knowing the general area where it was. And
You like the way he plays, don't you?
I do.
Not just his skill set.
He's a baseball player, man. I mean, he had a tough start. We saw some at-bats and kind of gave away some at-bats early, and there's times he can get frustrated, doesn't have the energy, but when he's going good, man, he is a high-energy guy. And I think his teammates kind of thrive off his energy. in all honesty, Shep, Francisco Lindor was that kind of guy for a while, but I think knowing that he's a free agent and probably not going to wear a Cleveland Indian uniform next year, he just hasn't been that guy this year, in my mind. Yeah, I'm not saying he isn't, but he just doesn't have that energy that, and the big smile, of course, he's wearing the mask here.
Yeah, he's got good numbers, but not the numbers we're used to seeing Francisco Lindor put up. So I agree with you there. It's 3-2 to Goodrum. And another one fouled away.
Those two guys are kind of the heartbeat of this Cleveland team offensively.
Yeah, I like the top of their lineup. They don't have the balance that they once had. They'll be an interesting team to follow should they make the postseason. And with about a week left, you would expect them to. Leon wants to chat with Carrasco.
I'll be honest with you. Carrasco's looking for a strikeout here. And Leon and him, I want to get on the same page. Full count. I like it when a catcher comes out in this situation. Let's just talk about it. Tell me why. Tell me what you want and why. And then the catcher usually says, you're committed to it, do it. You know, it's that positive reinforcement you need sometimes when you have doubts about a pitch.
Here's the 3-2. And he walks Goodrum. We were talking about Jose Ramirez and his energy for this Cleveland team. And he's had huge numbers against Detroit. Look at what he's done in this series. The first player with 9 hits, 4 bombs, 10 runs driven in against the Tigers since the Bambino in 1933. That is incredible. Just incredible. Keep that up there just for a moment more so people can digest that. That is a head-shaking statistic and graphic right there. I doubt Ramirez knows it yet.
No, he doesn't. A lot of years of baseball. Carl Willis, pitching coach, out there to talk to Carlos Carrasco. Let's go back and look. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's where Ramirez hit those home runs.
2 left-handed, 2 right-handed. Left-handed's in blue. Or, excuse me, red. Can't even colorblind now.
Just pounded him. Making that list. You know the list we're talking about. Every team's got one. Who's that team's killer? Romine with a big cut. He singled back in the 3rd. Struck out looking in the 5th. See if he can get the Tigers on the board here with a couple of men aboard and 2 down. That's 107 pitches for Carlos Carrasco, a season high from him. And to reinforce Jack's point about strikeouts, which they may look good, and we may talk about them a lot, but it doesn't necessarily lead to efficiency.
No.
He has not been overtaxed in all but this inning in the 3rd. Pitch count rises because of strikeouts. 30th pitch of this inning coming from Carrasco, and he strikes out Romine. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks.
The coaches and talk to the players, but he made it through, and the players are resilient. They're tough. They bounced back. They were sad, but they were ready to play.
Tigers now interim manager Lloyd McClendon talking about the players' resolve, getting back at it last night. Of course, Lloyd has managed himself in Pittsburgh and Seattle. He expressed interest that he would be interested in interviewing for this job. And John Paul Morosi from MLB Network, who's a Fox Sports Detroit contributor, he tweeted earlier a list of potential candidates that the Tigers could be interested in. Of course, A.J. Hinch being at the top of the list after leading Houston to the World Series. Also, Will Venable, the Cubs' third base coach. Don Kelly, I know that's going to get fans excited. He's now the Pittsburgh bench coach, and on down. Marcus Timms is an interesting one, too. New York Yankees hitting coach, and then, as I mentioned, about Lloyd. So some great names on that list, but, of course, moving forward, you've got the postseason and Hinch serving the suspension. There's some different challenges as far as when you can interview potential candidates. Now, again, that's Morosi's tweet. Nothing official as of right now as far as a list of candidates for the next Tigers manager.
It is an interesting list. Wallside windows pitching change with Ronnie Garcia. Yeah, and to Johnny's point, I mean, look, you got to wait till the season is over to talk to A.J. Hinch. You got to wait until New York is done through the playoffs with Marcus Timms. Although not many guys make the leap from hitting instructor to manager. Oftentimes, and this is unfair, but oftentimes you're looking for somebody who's been at least a bench coach. Don Kelly, by the way, the bench coach in Pittsburgh now. And Franmil Reyes walks for the third time today.
Well,
I think another interesting name here is George Lombard, just because he comes from the Dodgers organization, and the Dodgers have had such great success. We know that.
And Al's got some history with Al Avila's got some history with the Dodgers. So
Will Venable was a candidate for the Mets job in the offseason.
Redmond and A.J. Hinch, the two guys with managerial experience other than Lloyd.
Yeah. Redmond in Colorado with Bud Black now.
I know Mike Redmond, former Minnesota Twin. I got to know him pretty well. He's a character.
Sandy Alomar Jr.'s name not on that list, Jack, and that's because depending on what happens there in Cleveland, and we wish all the best to Terry Francona, but Sandy Alomar Jr. might be in line.
Yeah, just stay where he
for
is.
that opportunity once it becomes available. I stress once it becomes available.
Guy on his right there, the guy on our left, Carl Willis, the pitching coach. He's been there a long time through a couple different managers. A couple stints with Cleveland, I think. He was there when C.C. Sabathia was pitching. I tease him. He's my former teammate. I tease him all the time. I said, you must really have a tough job. Look at the guys you've had. C.C., Kluber. Now he's got Bieber. It's like, man, what a rough stretch you've gone through. He laughs. Kind of looks at you, puts that finger over his mouth.
Every coach would say it helps to have talent.
Yeah.
Garcia climbs the ladder against Luplow and strikes him out.
Now, leadoff walk, and then comes back with a strikeout. Elevates the fastball. A little bit of pop to it. And Luplow swings underneath it. Doesn't catch up.
Here's Oscar Mercado. A couple of strikeouts and a sacrifice for Mercado, who's playing left field for Cleveland today. Tigers with a 2-game series against Minnesota and a 4-game set in Kansas City left. And perhaps a double dip against St. Louis. Cleveland, in the meantime, will go home and host Chicago and Pittsburgh in back-to-back series. Mercado sends one to center. 2 away. So Cleveland, as we mentioned, against the White Sox, and a big series for the Tribe there, considering they're 6 games back of Chicago today, and not that they're going to overtake Chicago in the division, but you got a chance to make up some ground, and who knows? They are 3 back of Minnesota. You never know what can happen if you're the Cleveland Indians. Sandy Leon 0 for 3 today. They play him to pull. There's strike one.
Well, a day game after 3 night games, and they gave Roberto Perez the day off, kind of resting those catchers. And Leon gets a spot start here and there, and today was his day. Done a great job with Carrasco, though.
Sure has.
Anytime you get a guy through 7 innings, a shutout ball, 11 strikeouts for Carrasco, tying Plesac. 3 of the 4 starters had 10 plus.
Just a couple of homers for Leon this season. Both have come hitting left-handed. Garcia, the third pitcher of the day for the Tigers, delivers the 2-2. In foul territory, that should find the seats, and it will. Seven runs on 7 hits for Cleveland. Tigers just 1 hit and a couple of errors so far. All the Indians' runs coming in the last 3 innings. 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 2 here in the 7th, or 2 in the 7th as we work in the 8th. The big blows were the 2 2-run homers from Jose Ramirez in back-to-back innings, the 6th and 7th. Pops it up left side. Paredes wants it. He's got it. And the Indians are done in the 8th. Tigers played yesterday with Ron Gardenhire on their mind. And Ron Gardenhire was thanked by everybody in the organization. And I would bet everybody in the city of Detroit is. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Put it in D&CY Chevy Drive to the Motor City. And by the 2020 Census. Help your community by filling out your 2020 Census form by September 30th.
Got a little story about that guy. Everybody knows that's Tom Selleck, product of Detroit here, famous actor, Magnum PI. As Cameron going to step in here and face the new pitcher Cam Hill. He's going to replace Carrasco, and I'm sure everybody in the Tiger dugout's thrilled that Carrasco was out of the game. He had a brilliant game here today. Cam Hill's our wall side windows pitching change.
Yeah, Carrasco sparkled today. 7 innings of scoreless ball. Allowed just the 1 hit. Did walk 3, but punched out 11.
It's funny, I don't know if a lot of Tiger fans of this generation even know who Tom Selleck is, but he was the Brad Pitt of a generation or 2 ago. Just the heartthrob of all the women in loving movies. And he used to come to Tiger Stadium, believe it or not, and take batting practice off of us guys. Yep. And he loved it. He was a really good athlete, played volleyball, and loved being around the guys. We loved having him around. And I got to know him a little bit. I took a few pictures with him. I have an aunt who thought he was the greatest, so I had to send my aunt a picture of me and Tom Selleck, and that was the greatest thing I ever gave her. Anyway, Tom came up to me and says, "Hey, I'm making a movie. I want you to be in it." I go, "What?" You know, I was shocked. He says, "No, it's a baseball movie, and I need you to play a role in this movie." And I said, "Well, I'm listening." And he says, "We're going to be doing the shoot in New York." And he said, "If you would consider this, I want you to come out early if it's in between starts, and we'll be in there the whole week. And I want you to throw live off the mound like it's a game situation." He says, "And I want you to, if you can, you know, have it like in your bullpen session. I want you to throw live." And I said, "Sure, I'm all in." He said, "You're going to have to join the Actors Guild and pay dues." And I go, "What? How much am I getting paid?" He says, "Don't worry about that." Anyway, so I do this. Mm-hmm. And they have about, it's kind of during batting practice at Yankee Stadium. Daz Cameron strikes out. And they have about 1,500 people they put right behind home plate. and I do my thing. I pitched Tom Selleck. I got him out. I threw him some fork balls, couldn't hit him. And he says that was perfect, right? So he said, we're going to superimpose a full stadium, you know, movie stuff.
Right.
I'm at Christmas out in West Yellowstone with my family, enjoying a vacation. And I get a phone call from the producer of the movie. He says, I need you to come to LA to reshoot your scene. And I go, no way, I'm on vacation. It's my family. He asked me twice. I said, no. They superimposed my head. It's my body, and it's in Mr. Baseball. And that was the reason he went to Japan.
Right.
Because he couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's my experience with Tom
That's
Selleck.
cool. That's a good story. You're getting royalties from that, I assume?
I get Zippo. I think I got it. Well, I didn't get anything because they didn't put me in the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, you said they superimposed.
It's
you,
my
so I thought-
body, but they didn't use my likeness.
So it was, okay, so just the face, not the body, not the actual work, huh? Paredes with a one-out single to extend his career-long hitting streak to 7 in a row.
Sorry, that was a long story, but it's game 7-0, Chip.
Yeah, hey, listen, we got time, baby. I'm all right with that. Good guy, though, huh? You liked him?
Oh, great guy. Real guy, just normal person. Yeah, that's a nice hit there by Isak to extend that hitting streak. Flew out to left, flew out to right. Now he gets base hit.
I can tell you this. I mean, I think a lot of us like Tom Selleck even more just because we knew he was a Detroiter and because he wore the Tigers hat on TV. Nice play by Santana. He'll decide to get the out at first. That ball was hit hard off the bat of Victor Reyes. Speaking of cutouts, a couple of our bosses are here today with us in spirit and likeness here at Comerica Park. Ron Grelnick, who is the Senior Vice President of Production for all the Fox
There's Ron.
Sports regionals on the left, and our big boss, the General Manager of Fox Sports Detroit and Senior VP, Mr. Greg Hammer.
They both look a little bit like Tom Selleck.
They're both smiling.
There it was. That was the resemblance.
They are so lucky because Jack has the telestrator. Oh, there's a broken bat.
Get through.
To left, and it will get through. And
Hey, we're on the board.
Paredes will score thanks to the RBI single from Willie Castro. Now here's Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera has been a strikeout victim twice and grounded to short. Boy, if Cleveland's not in a little bit of a shift there, Willie Castro's ball probably never gets through because of the broken bat. Lindor was shaded much closer to second base. It's the Tigers on the board. Cabrera hoping to extend the inning with 2 away here in the 8th. Two and one to him. Sends one to deep right. That ball is gone deep into the bleachers in right field. A 2-run blast from Miguel Cabrera and a crooked number for the Tigers here in the 8th.
Look at those numbers right there. 107-mile-an-hour exit velocity. 411-footer. Yeah, Miggy got that one.
Another opposite field jack for Miguel Cabrera. 7th homer of the season. Loves going to right field. Tigers have 3 in the inning. Climbing and climbing for Miguel Cabrera with each milestone we see. That's 47 career homers against the Indians for Cabrera as well.
Well, Miggy's going to be a part of it again next year. I mean, he's only 16 away from 500 club. There's a good chance he could get that next year if we play a full season and he stays healthy. Maybe get a couple more yet this year.
8 homers and 52 this season. One and one to Jeimer Candelario.
Think about that, Shep. The 500 club. That's an elite group.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's unbelievable. And this game's been played a long, long time. There's just a handful of guys in that club.
Candelario turns on one and sends it foul. Yeah, there are certain milestones, right, in any sport that make you turn your head a little bit. And I would guess in baseball, among them is the 500 home run club.
Well, I'll tell you, in Cooperstown, I told you we have this great players-only dinner at the end of the whole weekend ceremony, and there's kind of a pecking order of where guys sit as Jeimer strikes out again. We'll go back to that after this next half inning.
Tigers score 3, 2 of them courtesy of Miguel Cabrera's big fly to right, his 7th of the season. They're down 4 as we head to the final inning in Detroit.
Top of the 9th inning, 7-3. Detroit's going to try to keep this game in check and have one more round and one more chance to get back into it. Ronnie Garcia in his 2nd inning of work.
One and 2 to Delano DeShields. Reaching base in the 5th means DeShields has been on base in 18 of his last 27 games. Not against Ronnie Garcia here to lead off the 9th, though.
Yeah, he reached back and got one right there. Fastball up. Nice pitch for Ronnie.
Here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Got the 2 youngsters throwing against Minnesota. Not sure who's starting Tuesday, but we know the Twins' best pitcher will be throwing against Casey Mize. Here's Francisco Lindor. You know, I would guess one of the keys to success against Cleveland is keeping this guy off base and under control. He only has 1 hit in the series. Now, he's been on base 4 times because of walks, but he played a 4-game set against Cleveland, and Francisco Lindor is only on base 5 times total. In pretty good shape. Great glove play by Candelario.
Nice
he
play.
can pick it at first, can he?
That was a nice play. Good coverage there by Ronnie to get over there. Just a really nice play here. Not a lot of bright spots in this one, but defensively, Candy throwing the leather at him. See it again here. Diving to his right. And a nice feed to Ronnie Garcia covering first.
Boy, that's well done. And then calmly takes his time and gives a perfect feed to Ronnie Garcia. This will be a quick inning. Willie Castro handles it, 8 pitches to get through the 9th for Ronnie Garcia. Tigers down 4. All right, guys, thank you. We will see you. 5, 6, and 7 do up for the Tigers here in the 9th. And Cleveland has gone to their closer, Brad Hand.
Yeah, it's not a safe situation, but Hand needs his kind of routine, stay sharp as they keep their fingers crossed for a postseason bid.
Jorge Bonifacio leads off for Detroit. The 3 runs for the Tigers coming in the last inning. RBI single from Willie Castro and a 2-run homer from Miguel Cabrera. Oh, 2 to Bonifacio. We saw a Hand work the other night against Detroit on Friday night. That's when the Tigers had what we thought was going to be the game-tying run. They couldn't get him home. It was Daz Cameron with that triple offhand to left center, but they left him stranded there.
Got a little bit of a funky delivery, like Daniel Norris. He lands flat-footed and spins off. He doesn't get up over his knee at all and drive towards the catcher's glove, but throws fastball, slider, and changeup. He's got good command. And you watch what makes a closer, right? Well, it's usually strike one. And that ability, who worked ahead in the count.
Off the end of the bat to first.
Oh, what was that?
Didn't cover in time.
It was his ball. I mean, yeah, hand did not cover. But Carlos Santana kind of gave up on this ball. He bobbled it, and then he kind of panicked. And you always hear coaches say, don't panic, don't panic. He had plenty of time to pick it up and still beat Jorge to the bag, but he flips it, and look where Jorge is compared to Brad Hand. He isn't anywhere close.
Leadoff man on. There's Niko Goodrum. Oh, 2 now after fouling that one back. Goodrum 2 for 5 in his career against Brad Hand. Broken bat looper, right side. That's going to be foul, and Goodrum will have to get a new war club. And now a message from MGM Grand Detroit.
We look forward to welcoming you back to all the excitement and grand times you expect. MGM done safely is still MGM.
Though not a safe situation, Brad Hand does lead baseball in saves with 13. He and Liam Hendricks of Oakland are tied for that honor. The 0-2. Nice stop by Sandy Leon. Romine to follow. Here's the 1-2. Now even.
Sometimes I watch Nico, and I think he has a better eye from the right side. He doesn't have that, obviously he's got way more at-bats from the left side because there's more right-handed pitchers, but I think he just sees the ball better from the right side.
Drives one to right. Luplo's going back. It's over his head and off the wall. Bonifacio's going to be waved home. Ramon Santiago's got that windmill going. Bonifacio's going to score, and the Tigers have pulled within 7-4.
The ball really carried, too. The ball's carrying quite nice out to right field over Luplo's head and right. Nico easily gets to second base for the double, but how about Bonifacio going first to home on this double? Making sure that it's going to get over his head, and then he takes off. He picks up Ramon Santiago, the third base coach. Ramon's waving him around, and Jorge scores.
Now Austin Romine hopes to keep the line moving. Singled earlier, the only hit allowed by Carlos Carrasco today. We start the inning with a gift from Carlos Santana, who bobbled the ball and didn't survey the field properly, and now you're hoping to really cash in.
Yeah, Hen can't really blame him because he didn't get over like he's supposed to either.
Here's the 1-1. Pulled foul. And the 1-2. Missed outside. 2-2 to Austin Romine. This is his first ever meeting against Brad Hand.
Hand was a little shaky with his command last time, and not real pinpoint sharp here today.
The 2-2 is fouled back. You're one swing away from making this game exceptionally interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Cleveland up 7-0 through 7.5. Detroit scored 3 in the 8th, and they've got one home already here in the 9th.
That's why you keep grinding. You never know. There's been bigger comebacks.
Another 2-2. This one's low and inside. 16 pitches already from Brad Hand. Three-two on its way. And popped up shallow right. Loop blows in. That's the first out here in the Tigers' 9th.
Hudson just misses this pitch here. It's a slider that stays up, and he's right on it, but just a fraction of an inch underneath it, and he pops it up. You don't get too many hanging breaking balls with runners in scoring position. I know that Romine more than likely frustrated with that one. Would love to have it back.
Daz Cameron stands in with a runner in scoring position and one away. First pitch, strike at the knees. Make it 0-2, same spot. Outside, 1-2 to Daz Cameron. Seven runs, 7 hits, no errors for Cleveland. 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Tigers so far. Here comes the 1-2. Took it low. Good eye from Cameron. Evens the count. Two nights in a row, Cameron's had big hits. Can he do it again? The 2-2.
Well, let's take a look at those 2 big hits. Off Brad Hand 2 games ago. He comes up as a pinch hitter and he gets a triple in the gap. And that puts the tying run 90 feet away. Unfortunately, they weren't able to tie that one. And then last night, the go-ahead run, an RBI to right, scoring Niko Goodrum. So 2 big hits in the last 2 games for Daz Cameron.
Proved to be the game-winning run right there. Here's the 2-2 outside. Good at-bat from the young fella. And now the 3-2. Swung on and missed.
Gets him with the slider. See how this one was more down and in. There's the grip and the spin and the good tilt and bite to it.
Leaves it up to Isaac Paredes. Singled and scored in his last at-bat. Two flyouts before that 8th inning single. Scored on Willie Castro's RBI single. Tigers scored 3 in that inning. Highlighted by Miguel Cabrera's 2-run opposite field homer, the 7th of the season. The 1-0 to center field. Delano DeShields has it. Cleveland wins the series. Tigers made it interesting. Fall 3 runs shy. 7-4 the final, and sent it to Mickey York at the Xfinity desk.
Andy, suerte, papi, ¿viste?